You're locked into Faith Under the Lights with Zach and Nolan, the podcast where faith and sports collide. We will spotlight athletes who are unashamed of the gospel and living boldly for Christ both on and off the field. Don't forget to like, follow, and share this podcast with others who need to hear these powerful testimonies. Faith Under the Lights. Let's get started.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Faith Under the Lights. Good to be back with you. Another episode here. Another athlete interview. Really pumped up about this one. We got Mason LeBlanc, who happens to be a senior at Ascension Christian High School over here in Gonzales, Louisiana. And he is actually committed to go play at Baton Rouge Community College. So he's going to be right down the road from us, playing his collegiate baseball. And just kind of watching a little bit of what he's been doing. He's been tearing the cover off the ball here lately, man. So it's been pretty awesome watching you do your thing. You guys got a pretty good team. We'll get into that. But I ran across, just like a lot of these athletes that we get on this podcast, the power of social media is very strong. And I ran across your a post that somebody made of you. I can't remember if it was your mom or your dad. But you know, when you signed with BRCC and they had a pretty good write up on there and talked a lot about kind of your story and everything. And I was like, man, we got to get this kid on here and let him share his story. And that's what it's all about. We're trying to spotlight athletes who are unashamed of their faith, both on and off the field, and you seem to fit that mold. And so, man, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kick it over to you, dude, and let you kind of tell us what your testimony is. How did you come to know Christ?
So I grew up in a Christian home. My parents, they had me going to church my whole life. And at 8 years old, during the 49ers Ravens Super Bowl, my mom was in her room. We were having a party at my house with like my whole family and some other friends. And I was just feeling something. And so I went into her room and I was like, I'm ready to give my life to Christ. And so we made that decision. It was pretty crazy, like halftime of the Super Bowl, you know, that's crazy. But
now, how old are you at this point?
8 years old.
8 years old. And,
yep.
and who were you pulling for, the 49ers or the Ravens?
Probably the Ravens.
Good job.
I don't remember though. And then after that, my dad baptized me at our current church right now. We've been there for, I think, over 12 years for a while.
What is that?
Fellowship Church in Prairieville.
Okay.
We've been there a while. So I got baptized, and then after that, I was so young, you know, I didn't have a real understanding of what it meant to follow Jesus truly, like, for my life. And so I was living in sin, doing all the things, you know, I'm not supposed to do. I transferred to Santa Ma. I went to Ascension Christian in middle school and ended up going to Santa Ma for high school. So I was playing there. And then I just wasn't very comfortable there.
Yeah.
Had some things going, and I would eat lunch in like the football locker room by myself.
Yeah.
I'm a very introverted person.
Yeah.
And I have trouble like meeting new people and all that stuff, but God has helped me with that a lot.
Yeah.
And so I played the first 10 games there my sophomore year, and then it just got to the point where it wasn't working for me and my family, so we decided for me to move schools. And so I went back to Ascension Christian because I already known people there.
Yeah.
I knew I'd be comfortable going back there. So I ended up going there my sophomore year. I had to sit out the rest of my sophomore year. And my family actually we had to move houses so I could be eligible for my junior year.
Yeah.
So we ended up moving in May, like right when school ended. We ended up moving houses. And then I met this girl, my girlfriend now currently, Cora. I met her like as soon as I went to school there. She's on the worship team at our school. And she was singing a song like the first day, and I saw her and I was like, man.
Do you remember what song it was?
I don't remember what song that was, but yeah.
So you just fell in love, bro. That voice got you. Huh?
Yeah.
Roped you in. There you go. It happens to the best of us, man.
Yeah. And then, so I played football at Santa Ma too. I was a backup quarterback. I didn't play, but I was on the team.
Yeah.
And then, so they just got a new coach at Ascension Christian. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't planning on playing because I didn't want to get injured.
Yeah.
Because of baseball and stuff. And I ended up deciding to play after the Jamboree. So like a week before the first game, I decided to play. And I played receiver, tight end. I played a little bit of safety and was on special teams. So I did that, and I ended up getting hurt. Like, I think it was the third game of the season. I messed up my shoulder. And
you throw on your throwing arm?
No, it was my glove arm.
Okay.
My right shoulder. And we didn't think it was a big deal. It hurt, but we didn't think it was anything. So I ended up playing the rest of the season, not knowing how bad it was. So I didn't play the last game because it got to where I couldn't play anymore.
Right.
That was against such a Catholic. I'm glad I didn't play that one.
Yeah, they were pretty good in football.
Yeah, I got out of that one.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting an MRI, and I found out I had a torn labrum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was devastating news for me because I knew I'd have to miss another season back to back. And so I had surgery December, like 4 days before Christmas. So that kind of made it a little worse, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't like go out of my house to do anything during Christmas.
Tough.
Yeah.
And when you get injured like that as an athlete, I mean, you're active and you're wanting to play, and you got that heart to get out there on the field. What does that do to you mentally?
It was a big toll on me mentally, like in my heart, my head, everything. It just really impacted me and hurt me.
And at that point, were you very strong in your faith, or were you still just kind of going through the motions?
I was still going through emotions.
Yeah.
At that point, or as I got older, I would only pray when like I needed things.
Yeah.
Or like if I got down or anything, I would pray and God would answer my prayers. And like as soon as my prayer was answered, I would like just go back to living my sinful life and doing things I shouldn't be doing. So
a lot of us fall into that, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of us got a story like that. So it's you're not alone there. So you're going through recovery. You had your surgery, and so you're not in a good spot mentally. And so then how do you come out of that?
So in January and February, it got bad to where I was having like serious depression and anxiety, everything with that. I would cry like every night. I'll be up till 2, 4 in the morning just crying. I know what was wrong. My mom thought it was because like I wasn't playing baseball. Yeah. And I was telling her, I was like, it's not that. I don't know what it is. And so she scheduled like an appointment like 3 different times for me to meet with somebody professionally. Right. And I kind of didn't want to do it. I just kept like backing out. I didn't want to get into that. And my girlfriend, she told me, she was like, well, maybe you reach out to God instead of going to see somebody professionally. And I was like, yeah, all right. And so the next like 3 days after that, I was in the Word with her and my parents, like doing devotional in the morning and reading the Word. So that helped me. But I was still dealing with depression after that. Yeah. And on the third day that I had started doing that stuff, I was at school and I was at lunch, and when I left lunch, I just started bawling, crying, like, because of everything that was happening. And I didn't it was so weird. Like, I wasn't thinking. I just went into my principal's office, like, without thinking. I just walked in there crying. And he was sitting at his desk, and I walked in there, and he was like, "What's up, man?" And I told him everything that had been going on. Mr. Bagwell, he's our president at the time. Yeah. I mean, our principal. And he was our principal at the time. And he just gave me encouraging words, and he was like, "Man, this is going to be part of your testimony and all this stuff, and how God's going to change my life." And I didn't know what that meant at that time. So he really helped me. I went into his office a few days after that, like when I needed things or anything. So he would
mentor you. I mean, he would just kind of pour into you. Is there certain things that you remember from that time? Because Mr. Bagwell's passed on, and just this year, right?
Yeah, it was in August, I think. Yeah, August.
And so, and that's a big void at that school, because I know what he meant to a lot of those people over there. Not only the students, the faculty, everybody has kind of been involved with Ascension Christian. He was a staple over there, and there's a lot of kids that had interactions with him that have a similar story to you, just because that's kind of the person he was. What would that look like? You would go in there, and would he sit down and just listen to what you had to say? and then maybe just kind of give you some encouragement from the word, or how'd that look?
Yeah, I would go in. I mean, I'll go in crying or mad or anything that was happening. I'll just go in, sit down, and he would always listen to what we said before he said anything. So however we were feeling, he'd let us open up and talk to him. He was really good at that. Yeah. And then he would just always had encouraging words to say, speak to us, and he helped us with everything that we dealt with. I have a few friends that they kind of dealt with the same thing. Like they were in a down time or period, and they got to go to him, and he mentored us. So
that's good, man. That's we need more men like that. You know, that's good. I know they miss Mr. Bagwell quite a bit. All right, so you go to him. He starts kind of pouring into you. What happens next?
I'll also say I got the chance to speak at his funeral. So we had chapel service at my school. Uh-huh. The day before he passed away, he gave an assembly about like a school revival, because it's supposed to be a Christian community, and it kind of turned away from that at the time. Yeah, and just how people were acting and stuff. So he did that, and the next day, he passed away that night at his house. Yeah, and then so the next morning, all like the seniors, we all drove to school at 8 a.m. They canceled school, and we all drove to school, and the school's pastors, all the teachers and faculty, they were there. We met in the cafeteria, and we all got a chance to like say how he impacted our lives. So I got the chance to share that there. And they picked a couple people to share at the chapel service we had the next day. They played like his favorite song and stuff. Yeah, so I got the chance to do that. That was great.
That's awesome, man. That's I didn't know that the day before he passed on, he was talking about a school revival. So has that stuck? I mean, can you feel that? Is that happening?
It did for a while. I think it kind of, went away a little bit. Yeah, it died off. But I know a couple of kids who they got saved after that. Yeah, because it was just a life-changing experience.
A lot of times people think that, and I've said this before, there's a pastor that I listen to, and he says that going to church makes you a Christian just as much as putting your head in an oven makes you a biscuit. Like, you go to Ascension Christian, there's a lot of people that probably go to Ascension Christian that, that's just because their parents sent them there, right? Mm-hmm. It's what you do, and who is Jesus to you? That's the question that we all have to answer. And, if you can't answer that question, it doesn't matter where you go to school. You can be in a public school, you can be in a private school, you can be wherever. If you can't answer that question, then you're not saved, So, just because you go to a Christian school or you go to a certain church, that doesn't make you a Christian, right? And I think that's kind of what's going on over there. And I wholeheartedly believe that the youth of America today they're going to turn this country around. And it's people like you and people that we've interviewed on this podcast that are going to do it. And so I encourage you, man, don't be afraid to talk about, what God has done in your life. It doesn't have to be complicated. So I keep getting off the track, man. But those things come up, man. I want to make sure we get them out there, because that's some serious stuff.
Triple F Customs is your ultimate destination for embroidery, screen printing, laser engraving, and more. We specialize in custom hats, shirts, uniforms, promotional items, and awards. Visit us online at triplefcustoms.co to bring your vision to life. Triple F Customs, your vision, our expertise, and family-crafted quality every time. Proud supporters of the Faith Under the Lights podcast, shining a light on athletes unashamed of their faith.
You got saved at 8, and you go through some things in your life. You're kind of going through the motions. You get involved, Mr. Bagwell. He mentors you a little bit. He passes on. But you said there was a time where you found your mom's Bible. Tell us about that time.
Yeah. So after, I think it was like a day or two after I spoke with Mr. Bagwell, after that lunch when I left, and that day I texted my mom in the bathroom. I was like, "Mom, please check me out." Before I went to his office, I was like, "Mom, I gotta go home." And she was like, "You can't run away from your problems. You're gonna be living in the world. You can't run from everything." So that really helped me and gave me the opportunity to go talk to him.
Get slapped in the face, right? Sometimes you got to get popped.
Yeah, for sure. And so that night, so before that, I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and that's when I realized that I wasn't saved. She helped me come to that realization. And she was like, "Do you really think you're saved?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know." And so, if you don't know, that means you're not. Yeah. So,
thank you, Cora.
Yeah, and then that night, I woke my mom up at 2 a.m. and I told her everything that happened. And she was like, "Well, this is a rededication." And so that's what we thought at the time.
Yeah.
And so I started taking notes in this notebook. And I went in her Bible and I found a couple phrases like just encouraging about Christianity and stuff. And she had all of our, like the dates of our salvation and baptism and like first communion and all that for my dad, my sister, and me. So I saw that and I wrote them down, and I wrote rededication, and I went to write the date, like the day that it was, and I just couldn't put the pen on the paper. I couldn't write down. And so I just closed my book and went to bed. And then the next day I woke up, and that's when that afternoon's when I was in the car with my sister. And she was like, "I heard you rededicated your life." And I was like, "Yeah, but something just still doesn't feel right." I still didn't feel good about it. And then the next day is when, after I got home after school and my parents were home and they were talking about my rededication, I was like, "I don't think this is a rededication. Like, I think that I never really truly gave my life to him. I knew it was the right thing to do, but I never really made him a priority."
Yeah.
And the savior of my life. And so we sat down and we prayed. And I don't really talk about this slide. I know I should, but I did have a spiritual encounter with Jesus. I was sitting on the couch and I just felt like everything go away. I felt this overwhelming peace, and I just felt the Holy Spirit, Jesus. And I always think about it as like I had to get knocked down and I was at my bottom.
Yeah.
And his hand was always there.
Yep.
He was just waiting for me to reach out and grab it. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That fires me. I get chill bumps when people start talking about that kind of stuff, because that's what, I mean, he stands at the door and knocks, and we got to open the door. And it sounds like you open the door. And so you had to talk with your sister. So, man, you have so much support, in your life right now. You got, your dad, your mom, who are strong Christians and walking it out. You got your girlfriend, who you got. Luckily, you saw her singing that day, and she was open to inviting you into her life, because that's a big part of it. And then is it little sister, big sister?
Big sister. She turned 24 yesterday. Actually,
be careful about saying women's age on.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I'm not bleeping that out. I'm gonna let you get popped.
Yeah, I'll get in trouble for that one.
Yeah. 24 is a good age though. So
yeah.
And so big sister's talking to you, kind of helps you land the plane a little bit with your salvation. And so now you're saved, man. You felt that come off, that spiritual that experience that you had with Jesus. I wholeheartedly believe those things. I've had times where I felt God and sitting right next to me, man, but there's times where I feel so distant from him, and I can tell you this, the times when I feel distance from him, I can always look back in my life, and a lot of those times it's as a result of me not doing my spiritual disciplines, my prayer, my worship, my, and none of it really involves going to church. I can go to church every day, but if I'm not doing the things that I need to do, I can feel myself drifting away, and it's never him. It's always me, right? You feel it? Does that happen with you?
Yeah, for sure.
Getting those ruts a little bit. Yeah. So, so you had a discussion with your older sister. You decided to recommit. What's life been like? Then, how long ago was that?
That was January 1st of 2023.
There you go, man. So now you can...
Or 2020. It's 23? Yeah.
Yeah. So now you know the date.
Date. I got a tattoo. Yeah. I have it on my arm in Roman numerals.
Okay. There you go. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get a picture of that.
Yeah.
And add that. So now that you've recommitted, what's different now than what it was when you were 8? Like what? How do you know?
after I got saved, I got baptized like a month and a half after that. And I was, doing everything I'm supposed to do in the Word, praying every night, every morning, everything that, I need to do.
Right.
And then I went through like a few months time period where I kind of went back to my old ways. And then I heard a sermon at church. It was about hypocrisy. Yeah. And what being a hypocrite is, being like the Pharisees. Yeah. Like, the truth, but you still, don't partake in it. And then the next day we have an FCA, and I got the chance to speak, and I spoke about hypocrisy. And the whole day I was feeling conviction about it. And I knew I needed to, turn my life back around. And so ever since then, I've been, doing what I need to do.
Man, there's one way I heard somebody talk about it. It's like you go for every mile of road there's 2 miles of ditch, right? And you got to. One of the pastors at our church says that it's not about your progression; it's about your position. Your position's always at the cross, and so no matter where you go, no matter how far you progress or how far you fall off, you got to always get back to your position that's at the cross. And so that's kind of the same thing. Yeah. And being a hypocrite, that'll make you feel terrible about some things. And God doesn't want you to feel terrible. Right. So, well, good, man. It's good that you're living it out, and you're having some great experiences. Are you doing anything? Are you serving or anything like at church? Are you doing anything like that? Are you mentoring anybody?
Well, not at church, but for my team, I do a devotional every day before practice. And when I got saved, I said, I was going to use my platform, the baseball, which is a gift that He's given me to spread the gospel. Yeah. And that's what you've done, give me this opportunity. Yeah. And so, like, the main thing I want is just the guys around me to have their own relationship with Him. Yeah. Their own encounter, whatever that is, to have their own relationship with Him. That's the thing that's most important to me. So
yeah. So that puts a little bit of pressure on you too, right? Because you have to live above reproach, right? You can't tell them one thing and go do something different, because that just kind of blows your witness out of the water, right?
That's right.
That's good. Yeah. So the thing that's helped me grow in my faith the most is when I help somebody that, is trying to come to Christ. They're new. It's being a disciple. I feel like I get more out of it than they do. It's weird how that happens. When I first started going to church and I thought I was a super Christian, I started serving in children's ministry. And one day the lady told me, she's like, okay, you're going to teach this lesson. And I had no idea, but it was probably some simple Bible story. And I got freaked out. I was like, man, I can't get up there and teach some 4-year-olds a Bible lesson that I don't know nothing about, because one of those kids is going to know way more than me, and they're going to call me out, and I'm not letting that happen. So that's when it started. God started showing me, like, look, if you are going to pour into somebody, you got to have something to pour into them. And so I think now I try to always have, somebody that's in front of me that I'm following and learning from. I want to have somebody behind me that I'm pouring into and I'm teaching, but I also got to have those guys that's on the side of me. So do you have that same kind of system?
Yeah, I feel like I do. And before I started doing the devotional, I actually had to, I don't really share any like this with anybody because I don't want to, be boastful and stuff. Yeah. But I had to apologize to my team. Like, one night it was after the hypocrisy thing. Yeah. I just felt like terrible because I've influenced these guys. I said I was going to turn around and be a good influence, and I'm still doing the same thing I was, cursing, everything that is with that. So I had to apologize to him when I was like, I've been doing this, and I'm turning my life around. I want to influence you guys in a positive way. Yeah. So I had to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you go through that, because that's not going to be the last time you kind of step off or something like that, and somebody sees that, the enemy wants you to keep that to yourself and kind of keep it in the dark. But man, if you try to battle the enemy in the dark, he's going to whoop you. Right. And so what you do there, you brought it to the light, and you get past it. Right. I'm sure they appreciate you more now that you were, honest about some things. There's a kid over there at Ascension Christian that I coached a long time ago. I think he was 11. He was 10 and 11. But is Jude Lambert.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's my guy, bro. He's when we get off of here, I got to show you an interview that he did when he was 11, and he pitched a complete game and just locked the other team up. And they interviewed him after he got player of the game. They interviewed him after the game, and he talked about having big dog mentality. Like he was interviewed like he had been on ESPN for 40 years. So if you get a chance to pour into him, man, he's a good kid. He means a lot to me. So you come back from injury. We're going to kind of jump back into baseball a little bit. You come back from injury and you get to play the latter half of your junior year, correct?
Yeah.
And so what was that like, finally being able to get back on the field?
Yeah, so I played the last 11 regular season games, I think, and I played in the playoffs. And I probably should have been playing. I wasn't fully recovered. I was probably playing like 60, 65%. But I just want to get back on the field as soon as possible and contribute. And that it was really different for me. Like playing the game before I had a relationship with Jesus and playing after. It's a completely different experience.
Why is that?
I'd say like before I'm playing for myself, and just doing everything that everyone else does, and not playing the game for the right reasons. And now I'm a lot more thankful. Every time I step on the field, I give thanks to him because he's given me all the abilities that I have, and back to just using that platform, to share the gospel. So
yeah. So you guys got a pretty decent team over there at Ascension Christian. Your coach has done a good job of really kind of righting that ship and turning that program around. You got some dudes over there too, man, and I mean you're part of that. Obviously, there's a couple of y'all that are going to end up going play little college baseball.
Yeah, we have a Belhaven commit, a LSUA commit, and me, and we have one more for sure, and might have two other ones. Yeah.
So season's young. There's some videos out there last weekend, and this one will air in a week and a half. So we might be a little further down the road by the time people start seeing this. But you had some success on the field, and you hit a bomb. You hit a bomb. You hit a triple and a double. Is that what it was?
Yeah, we had two games Saturday. Yeah. We played Zachary that Friday. We lost 2-0 in a tight game. And then Saturday we played Dutchtown and St. Thomas Aquinas. Yeah. And I hit a home run in the Dutchtown game. Yeah. That game didn't go how we wanted, but it's all right.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dutchtown's no slouch.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good. Did you guys beat Aquinas?
No, we lost. I think it was like 5-7. We had like 6 or 7 errors.
They're pretty good too. They're a thorn in our side. I don't like talking about St. Thomas Aquinas. But anyway, probably got some good kids on that team anyway.
Their coach was my summer coach for like 3 years. Yeah. Okay.
So how do you get to where, because if you went to Santa Maria your freshman year and part of your sophomore year, then you transfer, then you get injured. So you don't play your 10th grade year and you don't play the majority of your junior year. How do you get recognized to where you go play college baseball? Yeah,
so when I was younger, like 8th grade, I played for Team Louisiana with Ben Sheets, and that team has like everybody's going somewhere. So yeah, I played for them for 1 year, and then my freshman year, I started playing for Elite Squad. Brandon Efferson, he's the head coach at St. Thomas Aquinas.
They have the sickest uniforms, by the way.
Yeah, we actually didn't get a chance to wear the baby blues.
Really?
Like the team above us, they got to wear them, and we didn't get to wear the nice uniforms, but it was all right. Yeah. But yeah, he helped me a lot with my recruiting, like reaching out to coaches and stuff. I've only played like I think 23. Well, now it's like almost 30. Yeah. So I've played about one season of varsity baseball, and I'm a senior, so yeah, it's crazy. But playing this summer definitely helped with like development and stuff and reaching out to people.
Yeah, it's I mean, God's got a plan for you, man, and it seems like it's working out. What's the season looking like? What's the goals for the team this year?
We're hoping to make a deep run in the playoffs. Hopefully have a home playoff game.
Yeah.
This past week didn't go how we wanted. We're going to turn around and get back on track. So,
but you guys are playing up right now. Like some of those teams that you're playing, you say Zachary, you say Dutchtown. Those teams are always competing for state titles. So you're stepping up a little bit.
Our coach has a hard schedule this year.
That's good, but, so that's something that I think more teams should do. I know at where my kids go to school, French Settlement, with their big basketball school, they schedule hard, and so you battle tested early on, man. In 2004, my little brother played for Dutchtown and won state. They got their brains beat in early in the season. So you want to see that. You want to see good quality baseball. And so it's going to be up to guys like you to if you're going through some ruts and you're not getting W's, just keep grinding, What is it about Baton Rouge Community College that made you want to say yes over there?
So I went to a camp there this past off season, and I already had spoken with one of the coaches there, but the head coach there, I liked him a lot. He's a really nice guy, and the assistant coaches too. They're all young. Yeah. And I mean, I would like having an older coach, but at the same time, we're a coach because they understand, like younger athletes better and stuff. So I like that. And I have 3 friends from Santa Monica that I played with. Okay. They're over there right now, so I know people, players there. So
and it's right down the road.
Yeah. I'll actually get to live at home. So. Oh,
really? So you get to live at home while you're playing? Cool.
Yeah.
I always bring up my son. We start talking about baseball. I get so fired up about it. My son, he got an opportunity to go play at Ascension Christian College in Hot Springs, Arkansas. It was a 7-hour drive. Right, that takes a toll on you.
Yeah, for sure.
Go away. So you got 2 years at BRCC. Do you have any aspirations to go anywhere, or are you just looking for another opportunity once you get out of there?
Another opportunity. I like Southeastern a lot. That's where I wanted to go, like my freshman year and stuff. So
that's good. Then you'd be right down the road then too. Yeah, man. That's also staying close to home. What is so when you get to BRCC, do you have any idea how do you plan to keep God at the center of your life? Because you playing in high school, it's it's a job. Mm-hmm. You get to college, yes, it is nonstop. I mean, it's you're going to school, you're working out, you're eating right, you're practicing. It's definitely a job. So how are you planning on keeping your disciplines and keeping Jesus in the center of your life?
I actually talked about this with my small group leader at my church. I told him like how I kind of felt bad about having a checklist of things to do, because like we're not supposed to have just do it for a checklist, but do it for God's glory, right? Like the things every day. But he said it's better to have a checklist than to not be doing anything at all.
Winging it, yeah.
Yeah. So I have like a daily routine I'm a very routine person. Yeah. So I like to do the same thing every day. I wake up, do a devotional, and then I get out of school at 11. So after I go work out, I go home and do a Bible study, and then before bed, prayer, Bible study. So I plan on doing the same thing. And hopefully when I get there, I can pour into other guys, maybe do a devotion or something with the team.
That's it, man. Just keep leading, keep being a light. That's what God's called us to do, and He's put men like you in places like that to do those kind of things, because you don't know who you're going to run across over there that needs to hear about Jesus and what He's done in your life. And you're going to be saving people's lives, man. I know it's going to happen. Thinking about young athletes, young baseball players that are watching this right now. What kind of advice can Mason give to them that would help them, maybe further their baseball career, further their relationship with the Lord?
I'd say if you don't live in a Christian home, if you don't have that, try to get plugged in with people who have a relationship with Him. Joining a church or a youth group, that really helped me. So this is kind of back to when I wasn't saved, but my girlfriend, she invited me to the youth group at the church I've been going to since first grade. I went for a little bit, and I didn't want to go because I'm an introverted person and stuff. Yeah. And she invited me, and I begged my mom not to go. How can I beg my mom to go, not go to church and be saved? But I didn't really think about that at the time. I begged her not to go. She was like, "You're going. I'm not going to let you not go to church. You're going." So I went, and that night, it was a silent disco. And
silent disco.
Yeah, at church. We do different parties to try to get more people to go every month. So they had a silent disco. I walked in for 10 minutes and I left. Yeah. I went home because I didn't want to, meet new people and stuff. But I ended up getting close to the youth group leader and the other guys. They're all great. Some of them are on the Dutchtown baseball team. Yeah. So it really helps just having a community and friends around you who are, walking the same path as you that can help you keep your path straight, keep your eyes on Jesus. And from the baseball standpoint, if you want to play at the next level, it's definitely a job, but
you gotta have that passion. Yeah, man, you gotta have that passion, because if you don't have that passion, then those times when that alarm clock goes off, it's gonna be easy to hit snooze.
That's right.
Where there's something fun going on, but you got to get your cuts in. Yeah, I felt like that's where you were going with that. Yeah, that's so. You kind of said this when you were talking about giving advice to the younger kids. I want you to think about you when you were that introvert, and you might still be introverted. There's nothing wrong with being introvert. You think about back then when you were introverted and you were going through all those struggles. What's one thing? There's an introverted kid listening to this right now. And it's Mason LeBlanc back in those days, and he's listening to this right now. What are you going to tell him to help him get out of that?
Definitely getting the word and prayer. I think prayer helped me so much because it's a way to talk to Jesus one-on-one, and he definitely helped me kind of getting out of my comfort zone. Before I got saved, I would never thought about doing this or doing it or having a devotion with my teammates or anything like that. But really growing in my faith, that really helped me take the next step and help me grow out of who I really am.
Yeah. Is there something that you do that maybe, just whatever it is, is there something that maybe a scripture or a song that you listen to, something that helps you kind of lock in, when times are hard, or you had a bad game or something, whatever, is there something that you use to kind of get you back on track?
I love music. I listen to music throughout my day, pretty much the whole day. I always have. And I'll say this, listening to secular music, it's not always sinful and stuff, but for me, listening to worship music, majority, it really helps me because, the things that come into your ears go out of your mouth.
Amen.
But yeah, so that really helped me. I listen to older Christian music, older 2000s, because I always remember me and my dad, we drive around and I remember all the songs, so that's usually what I listen to. Yeah. There's a song by Zach Williams, it's called Rescue Story. Yeah. That's my go-to song. Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. Speaking of your dad, man, what about your parents, bro? I know it's they've been instrumental in your life and kind of where you're at today. You don't get to being the man that you are, and especially the baseball player you are without mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that are really good at baseball, but they don't have a supportive home, and they don't get to make it to where you're going to be. Give your mom and dad some love, man. We talk about them for a little bit.
There's nothing I can say to be thankful for them. I thank God every day for my parents and my family. I'm so thankful. My mom, she's always been there for me. She always says I'm a mama's boy.
It's okay. Mama's boy too.
Yeah. she is she is the person who like just walks in their faith constantly, consistently. The biggest person I know that does that. She's the women's ministry leader at our church that we've been at. And every morning I wake up, she's at the table in the Word. She's just always doing the right things, and she always helps. She understands my like being an introvert and all that goes with that. So she's able to talk to me and help me. My dad, I'm literally a copy and paste of my dad. Looks, the way we act, everything. We both love sports. We do everything together. I kind of think of him as a brother. Like, he's my father figure, but I don't have a brother, so he really is like the brother that I have.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. Do y'all cheer for the same teams?
Yeah. He's the only team, like the teams we don't cheer for. I'm an Astros fan, and he's a Braves fan. Yeah,
that's a double whammy.
Yeah.
That's the two teams I hate the most, man.
What's your team?
I'm a Rangers fan.
Oh.
So, I'll tell you why. When I was a little boy, when I was born, my dad named me after Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was playing for the Astros at that time in 1981. Tell you how old I am. And so my dad named me after Nolan Ryan because he threw a no-hitter somewhere around that time when they found out that I was going to be born, because my name was going to be Winston. So thank God for Nolan Ryan. And so he named me Nolan after Nolan Ryan. And I grew up, well, when I started paying attention to baseball, he was playing for the Rangers. And so I was a Rangers fan. We were terrible for a long, long, long time. Mm-hmm. Finally won the World Series. And so hopefully we got a shot to do something this year, man. I'm going to go out there and see him a couple times this year. But yeah, I've been a Rangers fan. I grew up in a house full of Astros fans, though. So you guys are terrible. What about football? Who's he pull for in football?
Saints, for sure.
Yeah, we're
diehard Saints fans and the Tigers, man.
There you go, and the Tigers. You watched LSU baseball this weekend?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they're looking really.
Yeah, their team's loaded.
Yeah, they're loaded up. Well, man, it's awesome. How do you see God using your story and your platform as an athlete to impact others? Would if you could paint the perfect picture, what would it be?
Well, like I said earlier, the guys around me, I really have like a passion and a love for the guys around me. They're my teammates. I treat them like my brothers. I'm with them every day. They're really like family. And I listened to this podcast, on YouTube a lot. And the guy on there, he goes out into all the crazy places and preaches to like people that are
blonde-headed guy. Yeah. What's his name?
Bryce. What's his last name?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's awesome. Yeah. I'll throw a link in the description for him too. Yeah. He's got good stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So he was talking about like how he goes out and does like preaches to all these people, but he has family at home that isn't believers, and that when I saw it, really hit me hard. And I have I have family that's they're all believers and have a relationship with God. And so the next people are my friends who, they've seen me live the way I shouldn't, and they've seen my life change. Yeah. And so I really just want to pour into them as much as I can.
Yeah. One thing that happened to me when I got saved, really saved, I kind of had the same experience that you had, where I just kind of said a prayer and went through the motions, nothing really stuck. But when I really got saved, the one thing when I heard that somebody got really sick or maybe got cancer or something like that, and this just happened recently, my uncle's funeral was last week. When I heard that he got this diagnosis, and this happens every time I hear this kind of news, my first thought is, are they saved? Do you think is that something that crosses your mind?
Yeah, I've had 2 family members pass, or I've had a couple of people pass in the past year. And I really like the difference between going to a funeral where
that's big.
The person's going to be in eternity with Jesus, and a person who you're not so sure. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that was the one thing. I had a conversation with him. We got his diagnosis that he had ALS, and as soon as I heard that, I rushed over there and we watched the LSU Florida game from this year. And I don't even remember if we won that game, but I was sitting there talking to him, and right before I got up to leave, I just walked over to him and I sat next to him in his chair, and I asked him, I said, who is Jesus to you? And he said it right off. I mean, he's my Lord and Savior. And he had never shown that. He was a big introvert, and he never said anything like that. And when he said that, it felt like a million bricks lifted off of my back. And at his funeral, it was peaceful. Just to know that he's up there, and I feel like that with everybody, and I think that we need to do a better job of being an example for Christ and bringing as many people with us to heaven as we can, because it's very real. I saw somebody say, and I posted it on Facebook today, there's a very minimal amount of baseball players that are in high school right now that are going to go play college baseball at whatever level. But 100% of them are going to get judged by God.
That's right.
We got to be prepared for that, man. And there's a lot of lost people that need to hear it. And so keep doing what you're doing. Any other thoughts, anything that you want to add, anything we missed out on?
This is kind of to the same thing. This past Sunday, the pastor preached on, he said, if you knew Jesus were to come back like tomorrow night, how would your day look? Like, what would you do? Yeah. And that hit me, to every day just truly live for Jesus in everything that you do, because we don't know when that's going to be, when he'll return, but just truly live for him in everything. And
that's Fellowship Church?
Yeah, Fellowship.
Pastor Kirk Jones that said that?
Yeah, he wasn't preaching. It was Pastor Jonathan, but yeah.
I love Pastor Kirk. He's a gangster. Well, that's good, man. Mason, I really appreciate you coming on here. I think God's got his hand on your life, and I think that a lot of big things are happening. It's just the beginning right now, big guy. And so keep doing your thing. I wish you guys a ton of luck this year. You guys got a really good senior-laden team, a lot of experience, got a good man driving the ship. And so you go out there and do your thing, bro. Just let it all hang out. You only get to go do high school baseball one time. So finish strong. You got a lot of baseball ahead of you. Very proud of you. Thankful for your parents for being who they are. And so looking forward to seeing your story continue, man. So thanks for coming on. It's Faith Under the Lights. We'll go ahead and check out with that. Y'all have a good one.